This is the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast, coming to you from the stand in Richmond Park this week rather than on the pitch. We'll be hearing from Stephen Kenny and John Caufield a little bit later on St. Pat's 2-1 victory against Galway United. Keith Treacy will provide analysis of that match. Drogheda United losing 2-0, unfortunately for them, to Shamrock Rovers. Paul Crowley was at the game and he'll tell us all about it. John Flanagan will give us the deal on Dundalk's 0-0 draw with Derry City, and we'll be going to Donal Ryan and Alan Cawley, who watched Sligo Rovers get a huge victory against Shelbourne, 2-1 the final score. At the RSC, Waterford 2-1 victors over Bows. In the first division, at Lone Town beating Cork City by 1-0. Cove Ramblers 1-0 winners against Kerry. Finn Harps with the win against Wexford. Treaty getting a victory against Longford, and UCD drawing 0-0 with Bray Wanderers. So that kind of does Cork City a bit of a solid, because they haven't made up the ground that they could have given City's loss. We'll get to those games shortly, but first let's go to the Aviva, where the Republic of Ireland were taking on Sweden in a Euro 2025 qualifier. Watching for us was Extratime.com's Christine Allen, and after the game she sent us this voice note.
Well, thanks, Oisin. The game has just finished there. Sweden 3, Ireland 0, as the two sides huddle here in front of me on the pitch. Eileen Gleeson in the centre of the players, and Joanna Wrighton-Canyard bagged a brace. Her first goal coming in the 26th minute before Rolfo then scored in the 62nd, and Canyard once again, she scored and she sealed the deal for Sweden in the 85th. It's a very disappointing result, because Ireland, you know, they looked really like they were going to get something from this game. They started extremely spirited, they had energy. There was a great buzz here in the Aviva. Caitlin Hayes, oh what a game she had tonight here. She took Ireland out of a lot of trouble various times on the back line here, and was really, really strong. I'm not surprised she got player of the match here. Louise Quinn, she was searching and scouting her surroundings as Brosnan, you know, raised a hand in a reassuring gesture in the first half as they tried to settle things down, and Jessica Zhu, the hammer, she hammered on the right wing. And I really, really felt that we were going to get something from this game. But Sweden, they showed their class. Rolfo and Canyard on the right wing, they were battling against McCabe, who was signaling for our teammates to cover the right flank. And she actually at one stage wanted Ang Gildal to get a yellow, which I thought was quite funny and ironic. Amber Barrett then, she had a number of chances to level the contest. You know, she had a chance in the 21st minute. She cruised in from the right flank, and she put the ball across there to Lily Agg in the first instance, but and Agg was blessed by a deflection with the number 17. She touched the ball wide past the post, so Barrett was involved at the beginning there in Ireland having chances, and then she had another chance in the 32nd. She ended up punching the goal net, inside the goal net there. She headed the ball over the crossbar. So look, it's a disappointing end to what was a very promising start for Ireland, you know. Things aren't looking too great in this group. Obviously we will have the automatic chance of the playoff, but good, but just not good enough, unfortunately, for Eileen Gleeson's women. So it's Sweden 3, Ireland 0 here at the Aviva.
So not a good night for the Republic of Ireland women's team, who lost 3-0 to Sweden. Let's go back now to the SSE Electricity Men's Premier Division, and we will start with, I think, the result of the night. That's Sligo Rovers 2-1 victory against Shelbourne. Donal Ryan was there.
With me here is Alan Cawley. What a result we've had here at both ends of the table. Full time here in Tolka Park. Shelbourne 1, Sligo Rovers 2. Alan Cawley, talk me through that.
Yeah, an unbelievable result, Donal. I think we're all surprised really by it, because nobody gave Sligo Rovers a chance. But to be fair to them, they came scored their first goal after about 20 minutes, totally against the run of play. Shelbourne had dominated the opening 20 minutes. A couple of great chances. One in particular was Sean Boyd, should have scored. Good save by McGinty. But then from a resulting goal kick, a flick on from Chapman, Barlow with a lovely touch, Caelan Barlow on the edge of the box, and cuts one back into this corner here. An excellent goal, put them 1-0 up. And then they held on till half time, worked hard, but there was a lot of concerns, particularly down the right hand side. Shelbourne were getting in far too easy, but they come out in the second half and you're thinking, can Sligo Rovers hold on for as long as possible? But I'd say Sean Boyd was the man who was after getting a serious bollocking by his manager, because he came out like a man possessed in the second half, and he scored a great goal after an hour, a really great goal. And you're thinking Shelbourne are going to kick on now and go on and get the 3 points. Duff made a couple of gambles, made a couple of attacking substitutions, as you'd expect, went 3 at the back. But just as we're thinking Shelbourne are going to go on and win it, there was a turnover of play in the halfway line. Radoslavic broke away, and an unbelievable pass and a brilliant run by Hartman gets him in 1-on-1 with the keeper, and a brilliant save. And all of a sudden Sligo Rovers are 2-1 up against the run of play. and you're thinking the last 25 minutes, can they hang on? They're going to throw the kitchen sink at them. I think Damien Duff made every substitution that he could, brought on every attacking player that he could, but Sligo Rovers stood strong, and there was one brilliant moment near the end, a save from John Martin from Ed McGinty, a brilliant save that got them the 3 points. And Damien Duff would be absolutely furious and disappointed, because on paper you're looking top of the table against one of the teams that are struggling, but a massive 3 points for Sligo Rovers, and they dug in and worked hard, and fair play to them.
Usually it's Shelburne that do the frustrating to other teams, but tonight they were frustrated themselves.
Oh, absolutely. You could hear the moans and groans around the ground. People weren't happy. The longer it was going on, the more frustrated they were getting. There was stoppages in play frustrating them. Sligo Rovers were winding down the clock, substitutions coming on, coming off. And that's part and parcel of the game. You have to do that, Donal, and Damien Duff no better. He'll understand that. If the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be doing it to Sligo Rovers. So I have no issues or no problems with that. And they've earned the 3 points tonight, and by God have they earned them.
And finally, Alan, what does that result mean now at both ends of the table? Obviously, it's a huge 3 points in the context of Sligo Rovers and their season in terms of them staying up. A lot of people will probably have them tipped to slip into a relegation fight. But Shelburne losing a run there at the top of the table too.
Yeah, because they've come into the game 8 unbeaten. That's their first loss in 8. And 3 wins on the bounce as well. So they're in really hot form, and you're thinking, win tonight again, that's 4 on the bounce. And they opened up a gap of 9 points of Shamrock Rovers last week, 6 from Derry as well, and you're thinking they can capitalise and kick on even more. Derry only drew tonight, but Shamrock Rovers got the victory. It's back to 6 now, and all of a sudden they're looking over their shoulder again, just when you're thinking we could open up a real decisive gap on Shamrock Rovers. But he'll be so disappointed, and he won't be looking at league tables tonight, Damien Duff, but he'll be so disappointed, just the fact that they just couldn't get the job done here tonight. Because let's be honest, I'm from Sligo, I'm delighted Sligo won. Obviously yourself as well, Donal, we want to see Sligo doing well, but nobody gave them a chance coming up here, rightly so, because of the form Shelburne are in. That's only being realistic. So he'll be bitterly disappointed, but a big night for John Russell, and as you say, Sligo Rovers now need to start looking up the table rather than behind and down.
Well, there you go. What a night. Shelburne slip and Sligo Rovers pounce. Full-time hero scene in Tolka Park. It's finished. Shelburne 1, Sligo Rovers 2.
A great night for Sligo Rovers, who overcame Shelburne by 2-1. My thanks to Alan Cawley and Donal Ryan, who were commentating on the game for Ocean FM, but provided analysis for the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast. Let's get some analysis from here in Richmond Park, where St. Pat's overcame Galway United by 2-1. Mason Melia put Pat's 1-0 up in the first half. Lamboto came off the bench and scored his first ever Premier Division goal for Galway to make it 1-1. But Mason Melia, well, he and Cian Levy worked hard to create an opening for Alex Nolan to fire home his second of the season in the league to give St. Pat's a 2-1 victory. We'll hear from Stephen Kenny and John Caufield in a while, but first the post-match analysis of Keith Treacy, who was on commentary for LOI TV alongside me.
I thought it was a really compelling game. I thought both teams had periods in the game when they were on top. I think there's a lot of Pat's defending that was last ditch. They gave Galway an awful lot of chances. I think John Caufield and Ollie Hall are going to be thinking from a Galway point of view, there's every chance we could have come here and won the game. We had enough chances. We were comfortable, very, very competitive. But I think given what has happened to Pats over the last 2 games, the last minute defeat to Shelbourne, the last minute draw to Bows, I think they'll feel like they were due that little bit of luck in the last couple of minutes. And a really good game, and Pats just managed to edge out on the right side of it.
And you can see it now, but you couldn't a second ago. The Galway supporters, despite the fact that they're disappointed to lose the game, are still applauding their team because they put in some effort tonight. They can consider themselves maybe unlucky not to be taking a point away from Richmond Park.
Yeah, I think they are unlucky. As we said, they crashed the crossbar, they looked more dangerous, they put a lot more dangerous balls into the box. When the big man Hickey came on up front, the ex-centre half, he was causing all sorts of problems. Someone defending from St. Pat's did leave a little bit to be desired. But if you're a Galway team, it's your 4th season back in the Premier Division and you're coming to win Chicago, you're thinking maybe we could have won that game. Really, really good signs from Galway, but Pats will be delighted just to get the 3 points.
They found a way to win, St. Pat's.
They did, they found a way, and sometimes, you asked me in the build-up to this, Oisin, is it just about winning for Pats tonight? Is the performance secondary? And for me it wasn't. Again, there's been some good long periods where Pats are playing well, they're in control. Sometimes the possession is a little bit passive, but they're putting building blocks in place. I think from the first game against Derry, Stephen Kenny's first game against Derry, to this game tonight, they're definitely getting better and better. And moving towards a 90-minute performance for St. Pat's.
It didn't look so good when this goal went in from Lomboto to make it 1-0.
No, it didn't. Again, it was really good play from Galway. They set Pats up. They look like they're about to just pump one into the box. Play a short to Kazim. He gets Mason 1v1 on the left wing, whips it into the back stick. Hickey wins the header, just hits Lomboto, who gets into a good position, and all of a sudden it's 1-0.
That was Lomboto's first ever Premier Division goal for his team. Levy set up a second goal of the season in the league for Alex Nolan. We're having a look at it now.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Levy. Initially he's looking for the penalty kick, but he picks himself up off the ground, surrounded by 3 Galway players. Jinks one way, jinks the other, ends up at the byline, does really well to fizz it across. Mason must get a shout from Alex Nolan because he's lining the ball up a long way out. It's a lovely finish, can easily sky those ones, but it's all down to Keane Levy's excellence, taking on 3 of the Galway players on the byline. Brilliant finish from Alex Nolan. Maybe a little bit lucky that St. Pat's have hit the back of the net, but they had less chances, but they had that little bit more class up front.
St. Pat's 2, Galway United 1. The stats, well, I'm not sure that's entirely correct what we're looking at right now. Galway with 16 attempts, St. Pat's with 6 shots on target. Galway 4, Pat's 2. Possession 56-44 in favour of St. Pat's. Corners 1, Galway 6, St. Pat's 3. And fouls 1, 11 for Galway, 15 for St. Pat's. The most important stat is the one at the top of the screen. St. Pat's 2, Galway United 1. How much does that change things or boost things for Stephen Kenny? Because he's a good manager, he's a good coach. But the longer you kind of go without winning a game, maybe the less likely players are to listen to you. They've got the victory now. And it's kind of vindicating everything he's telling the players, all the messages he's giving them.
Yeah, exactly, Oisin, and I think it just reaffirms the message, you know, when Stephen Kenny comes in here, going to play a slightly different way to what John Daly was playing. So when the manager's coming in and he's giving you these new ideas, these new triggers, these new rotations of when to run and when not to run, if you keep going to the well over the last 3 games, and Pats haven't really got any rewards bar the point against Bows, to come here tonight and win the game, it just reaffirms that message. Okay, we're going to get rewards playing this style of football. Stephen Kenny will just be saying, lads, we weren't brilliant tonight, but we've done enough, we've got it over the line. And as I say, he will feel that building blocks are being put into place for this Pats team to just keep kicking on. Defensively can do an awful lot better, and in attack can do an awful lot better, but it was about winning the game of football tonight, and Pats managed to do that.
Can you see the evolution, the revolution? Did you spot anything in particular tonight in St. Pat's that's changed, that Stephen Kenny is implementing?
Well, I like the fact that we're playing with a little bit more width. I know Jake Mulroney didn't start tonight, but generally he started the last couple of games under Stephen Kenny. I think he had a bit of a knock, maybe explains why he didn't start. But we're playing with an awful lot more width. We're playing with 4 at the back, but we're building up with 3. So when we have the ball, generally the left back or the right back is popping into midfield, and we're playing up from there. But I really like the width. I think last season Pats were so good, and I do think a lot of that was down to our wing play with Mark Doyle on one side and Mulroney on the other. We still have Mulroney. I know Mark Doyle's gone out the window, but you have to play with width. So many teams will not let you play through the middle, so you have to try and play around them. And I think we can see Pats now. We know Stephen Kenny loves wingers from his time at Dundalk and as the Republic of Ireland manager, and I think we're starting to see that at St. Pat's as well, as that we're going to be playing with an awful lot more width and some really tricky wingers.
So that is the view of former St. Pat's and Republic of Ireland player Keith Treacy on the game. As I speak to you, I'm on my way across the pitch and into the interview room, where we'll hear from the Galway United and St. Pat's side of things. Stephen, I imagine that winning feeling is a nice feeling to have again.
Yeah, no, listen, I felt again in the game against Derry here, for example, we only conceded 1 chance in the game. I got punished with it. Played a lot of good football in that match, and I felt in the second half against Shelbourne, when we got the goal and Jake Mulroney got that free kick, we really rallied and finished strong and showed a lot of quality in that, and lost in the 97th minute. We drew in the 92nd minute. Today we probably got a break because we didn't play well today, and but the players gave everything, and they dug in and gave everything themselves, and you know, obviously Galway hit the bar near the end, and those are the margins.
It is very appropriate that in the background we can hear Journey Don't Stop Believing, because your team didn't stop believing even after conceding that equaliser. Yeah, well, we're not got the strength and depth maybe of some squads, but I think obviously we're missing a few today. Jake wasn't quite right, Jake Mulroney, and Rory, they come off last week, and Anto Breslin was a loss for us in terms of he's the only natural left back of the club. So all the other players, the back four really stood up and showed they were a team, and showed very resolute qualities that you would want
and some of them are learning what it's like to play for St. Pat's, a club with expectation, and they're learning about that, and I think so. It's certainly that's it's important then to get a victory like that and get back on track.
Let's break down the goals. The first one, you won a couple of headers. Amelia was there at the back post. Is that very pleasing when players attack the ball aggressively like that and find a way to score? It wasn't what you call the most well-constructed thing in the world, but it worked, and it came from endeavour and work.
Yeah, it was probably a penalty, and anyway, with the foul on King Kavanagh, but Mason was there to score, and that was important. And again, I'm disappointed with conceding the goal, but it was again Cian Levy was fouled. That was a penalty as well, and but obviously, I understood why the first one wasn't given because we scored, and then we actually scored from this as well, but he had a lot of work to do, Cian Levy, because he had to get to, should be 2-footed, left foot dribble, right foot cross for a left footer, and Alex, he hasn't had a start since I came in, but he's made an impact off the bench, and it was a big goal for him, young player coming through the academy.
How good is it to have that pace and guile? Tonight they were used off the bench, but to just have it generally as an option, players like Alex, players like Cian. Yeah,
they combined well for the goal, and we're going to need to improve, of course, because it was probably overall a different type of display than some of the other displays, and it was we showed a resolute team ethic, and that got us the win.
It's a quick turnaround to Monday night, and Dundalk coming off the back of a good result themselves tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of different. Obviously, Dundalk is a great club, really magnificent club. Had an amazing 6 years there, and they had a good result tonight. So, yeah, they've been keeping a lot of clean sheets, and over the last 6 or 7 games, and in Oriel Park, they hadn't conceded a goal, I think. So, it's we'll have to earn it on Monday.
Stephen, thank you.
Thank you.
John, is that a game that you could have and maybe should have taken something from?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt we definitely should have taken something from it. We're very disappointed with the first goal. Certainly we're really good in that, but we missed three occasions to clear the ball. But we regrouped at half time. We thought that with opportunities in the second half we would create some, and obviously we got back into the game, and I thought, to be honest, I thought there was only going to be one winner. I think we hit the crossbar, and Rogers made a very good save, and we got in each other's way for another opportunity that looked as if we got on target, we'd have scored. So yeah, that's the way it goes, and we're disappointed. But to be fairness to them, they kept going to the end, and they nicked it at the end.
I know the result is disappointing, but as a manager, are you pleased with the performance, the work rate, the effort?
Yeah. But look, I said all along, my lads are brilliant. You know what I mean? That's what we're here. That's what they've done for in the first division. They've shown that effort and commitment, and they're honest, and they're good for that. At this point, the thing for us is that we certainly had a point in the bag. If we didn't have more, we thought we might get the winner. So I think from our own point of view, defensively, we just give away, we think, 2 soft goals from our point of view. But look, that's the way it goes.
On a general point, is that a very pleasing thing for you as a manager, that so many guys who were with you in the first division have stepped up to Premier Division football? Because we've seen teams in the past come up and guys either didn't step up or didn't get the chance to step up, but your lads have. They look like they've been at it all their lives.
Yeah, well, I think there's a few new lads have come in, and certainly, but look, we're at the halfway point and we're doing okay, but we're frustrated tonight because we definitely feel that we should have got something. But look, congratulations to Pats, that's the way it goes.
Do you know what? I forget if your game is called off on Monday night or not, or postponed. Are you playing on Monday? You're off, okay. Would you like to have had another game, or is that frustrating, the fact that it was called off relatively late in the day? Okay, it's for a good reason, international call-ups, but how annoying is that from a planning point of view, from your point of view, from Galway's point of view?
Look, that's the way it is. I don't think you can do anything. I think from a league point of view, we have to be stronger in making sure that we know when games are on or off. You know what I mean? And if there was a doubt, maybe that could have been played. That game might have been played the previous Monday. But look, that's the way it is. We know the circumstances. We're back in training on Sunday, and we get prepared for Derry next week. Another lovely game for us.
Thanks, John. That's all the reaction from Richmond Park, where St. Pat's had a good and big victory against Galway. Big in a metaphorical sense, not big in a scoreline sense. 2-1 the final score. Let's go to Weavers Park, where Shamrock Rovers overcame Drogheda United. With the detail of the game, former Drogheda and St. Pat's midfielder Paul Crowley, who was on commentary duty for LOI TV, but afterwards He sent us this voice note.
Oisin, final whistle's gone here in Weavers Park. It's Shamrock Rovers who take all 3 points. We spoke about it at half time then, no real quality from either team in the final third. Well, Shamrock Rovers turned that in the head very early in the second half. Fantastic through ball from Aaron Green to find Johnny Kenny, who made great runs from outside to in all night. Got on the end of it, took a really good touch away from the centre half and finished with his left foot. Wogan, no chance. The perfect start for Shamrock Rovers in the second half. They continued to drive forward. Drogheda were struggling a little bit to deal with the possession they had. Again, a moment of brilliance. Graham Burke just on the outside of the box. Some good possession from Shamrock Rovers, who were playing some free-flowing football after going 1-0 up. Graham Burke picks the ball up at the outside of the box. He's left with way too much space. Evan Weir just drops off instead of going and pressing him. Gary Deegan is unable to just get over and put pressure on the ball. And Graham Burke just sticks one into the top corner from the edge of the box. Just a moment of brilliance. 2 brilliant goals and puts them in the driving seat, 2-0 up. They didn't have the easiest of rides come the last 20 minutes. Drogheda had plenty of chances to get back in the game with 20-25 minutes to go, but loads of half chances. Evan Weir put some wicked deliveries into the box and they just no conviction to get on the end of them. Shamrock Rovers just sat in. Lee Grace was excellent and dominant. Nugent played on the right side of a tree and was really good in defence as well. So it finished on the night. Shamrock Rovers 2, Drogheda 0. 3 defeats on the bounce now for Drogheda, and Shamrock Rovers closed the gap on Shelbourne with it looking like the game was finishing 2-1 just as we were done here as well. So a good night's work for Shamrock Rovers. Not so much for Drogheda United, who travel to an informed Sligo Rovers now after getting a big win themselves in Tolka Park.
Let's stay in County Louth, where Dundalk drew 0-0 with Derry City. Former Dundalk and Drogheda player John Flanagan was at the game, and afterwards he sent us this voice note.
It's all over here in Oriel Park. It's finished 0-0 in John Daly's first game in charge for Dundalk. Much better showing from Dundalk tonight, who defended really well. They did a wonderful shape about them, kept Derry at arm's length, worked really hard out of possession, but the difference was when they were going forward was definitely a lot more incisive play, a lot more creativity, and they carved Derry open on numerous occasions and missed 3 unbelievable chances. Jamie Gullen, Cameron Elliott should have put the Lily-Whites ahead and taken all 3 points. For Derry City, they didn't really create anything of note. Plenty of corners, plenty of free kicks into the box coming the last 15 minutes, but Dundalk made first contact, won headers, put their bodies in the line and didn't allow Derry anything really. So probably overall, John Daly probably be happy with a point against Derry City, but maybe at the same time be a little bit disappointed he didn't come away with 3 points in his first outing. But the positive signs are there that hopefully he can progress and start scoring goals, picking up 3 points.
John Flanagan, who was on duty at Oriel Park for LOI TV and LMFM, and of course Extratime.com. Let's go to London now, because the Champions League final takes place on Saturday night. Real Madrid taking on Borussia Dortmund. Extratime.com's Macdara Ferris is there for us, and he sent us this voice note.
I spent Friday out at Wembley Stadium. Both clubs for the Champions League final did their pre-match press conference. First up was Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti. He spoke. He was kind of flanked by Nacho and Luka Modric, and he talked a good bit about what he tries to get across to his team. This club is so successful, Real Madrid, in the European Cup. They're going for their 15th European Cup, their 6th Champions League title in the last 11 seasons. But Ancelotti at the press conference insisted his team aren't obsessed with the trophy, but they're obsessed with competing. He said that the Champions League is very important, but he'd argue that the season has already been a success. And of course they have wrapped up the La Liga title, their 36th one, which is quite incredible. He talked about what he looked to do to get his players ahead of the game. He said the most important thing in these games is to put in the players' heads what they need to do on the pitch. He focuses on the tactical aspects. My idea is to be super clear on the tactics. The clearer the players are, the happier they are, and the better they'll perform. So that's what Carlo Ancelotti said ahead of the game. There's been a lot of focus on German football in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Bayer Leverkusen's unbeaten Bundesliga and German Cup double, although they were defeated in the Europa League final in Dublin. And a couple of weeks' time, all eyes will turn to Germany with Euro 2024. But this weekend, the focus is on Borussia Dortmund to see can they win their second ever Champions League. They won it in 1997. The last time they got to a final was in 2013, and that was in Wembley, but they lost. I was very impressed with Edin Terzic, who's the Borussia Dortmund manager. He recognised kind of the challenge that they had, but the fact that it's a one-off match, he felt that gives them the chance. He said if we played Real Madrid 10 times, it'd probably be a stretch, but for one match across 90 minutes or 120 minutes with penalties, we're capable of beating any opponent in the world. But he said that, he acknowledged that Real Madrid are favourites, but he said we don't care. We weren't favourites against Atletico or Paris either, he said, in relation to their quarter-final win against Atletico Madrid or their semi-final win against Paris. And he said, if we are brave and not here just to see Madrid win their next trophy, then we're going to have a chance. It was something Julian Brandt echoed as well. He talked to the pre-match press conference as well. He said that the Champions League season has given them coverage. They had a bit of a slow start, got beaten by Paris in the very first game, but they kind of got going after that, and as said, they got to the final by beating Paris Saint-Germain and with 2 clean sheets. But they are, I think Real Madrid are heavy favourites. Hopefully we'll see a good game in Wembley. It's 90,000 fans that are travelling. Certainly looking around the venue on Friday, there was a lot more yellow. I think a lot more Dortmund fans that travelled than Real Madrid. Maybe Real Madrid pick and choose the fans. They pick and choose the finals that they come to. But Real Madrid are very heavy favourites. So I suspect if we do a voice note on Saturday night, it'll be me reflecting on Real Madrid winning their 15th European Cup crown and Carlo Ancelotti's 5th European Cup as manager.
Well, that's almost it for the Extratime.com League of Ireland Voice Notes podcast on this bank holiday weekend. Let's go back through the scores just to remind you of them. Drogheda United 0, Shamrock Rovers 2, Dundalk 0, Derry City 0, Shelbourne 1, Sligo Rovers 2, St Pat's 2, Galway United 1 and Waterford 2, Bohemians 1. What does all of that mean for the table? Well, it means that Shelbourne are still top. They're 5 points clear of Derry City. They both played 20 games. Shamrock Rovers on 31 points. That's just one behind Derry City, and they've also played 20 games. Waterford are now 4th on 28 points. They have 2 games less played than the top 3. Galway United 5th on 27 points. Also, they have 2 games in hand on the top 3. Bohemians 6th on 24 points. St Pat's 7th on 23 points. Sligo Rovers 8th on 22 points. Drogheda 9th on 15 points. And Dundalk, well, they're 10th on 13 points. Now, from 4th downwards, almost all of them have only 18 games played, except for St. Pat's. They have 20 games played. There is obviously a full programme of, well, not a full programme of fixtures on Monday. There are some fixtures on Monday. Isn't it great, by the way, when fixtures are postponed because of international call-ups? Sligo Rovers take on Drogheda at 5 o'clock. St. Pat's up against Dundalk. That one now kicks off at 5:15. That's live on Virgin Media Television. There will also be coverage on the St. Pat's app. We'll have a radio-style commentary. So you can watch the watch party, as it's called, or you can just listen to it. I'll be live in the ground here, and we'll have analysis from Colin Hawkins and a few others. Aoife Mullen will be hosting. At 6 o'clock on Bank Holiday Monday, Derry City take on Waterford. It is not a bank holiday in Derry, by the way, so if you're making your way up to that, just keep in mind that there will be the normal workday traffic. In the First Division, there's also a full range of fixtures, but let's just remind you of the scores from the First Division games last night as I speak, last night as you listen, Friday night as I speak. Athlone Town 1, Cork City 0, Cove Ramblers 1, Kerry 0, Finn Harps 1, Wexford 0, Treaty United 1, Longford Town 0, and UCD 0, Bray Wanderers 0. How does the table look? Cork City still top, they're 9 points clear. UCD second on 30 points. They've both played 18 games. Athlone, thanks to that big victory, are now on the same amount of points as UCD, but they're in third position. They're on 30 points. Finn Harps 4th on 28 points. Bray 5th on 25 points. Wexford 6th on 25 points. Cove Ramblers 7th on 22 points. Treaty United 8th on 18 points. Kerry 2nd from bottom on 12 points. And Longford bottom of the table on 12 points. Let's just remind you what the fixtures are in the First Division on Monday, because they're playing games as well. Wexford take on Longford at 3, Bray up against Cove Ramblers at 5, Cork City taking on UCD at 5, also at 5, Finn Harps against Athlone Town, and you've guessed it, also at 5, Treaty United going to Kerry FC. We will have a podcast ready for you on Tuesday morning to react to the Bank Holiday Monday games. I'm going to ask you what I always ask you: please like, rate, subscribe. It really helps us out, and you can do that wherever you get your podcast. Enjoy your bank holiday weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday night / Tuesday morning.